were rumors of strife on the set.
Brandy would say the Countess said bad things to her in front of people. It was because we were teenagers.
On the show, are we going to see your rekindled relationship with Brandy, since we're going to see Ray J? Will we see all that?
Child, not Countess Vaughn keeping this beef going by trying to expose how Brandy allegedly made her life miserable while filming Moesha, especially since it's been over 20 years since the show ended and the two of them haven't really had much to do with each other since. But if you heard what allegedly went down or the way Brandy treated her on set, then it really isn't too difficult to see why Countess still has a bone to pick with her even after all of these years. There has always been talk that Brandy was kind of a mean girl in the 90s when she was at the top of her game. And if you ask Countess, it was just as bad as people thought. And she's not moving on from the situation until Brandy apologizes and acknowledges that she did her dirty. Child, Brandy apologizing to Countess? That's like asking Kanye not to crash out. The drama between Countess and Brandy on the set of Moesha was apparently very toxic, both on and off screen. Cause did y'all notice that Kim and Moesha were sort of like, frenemies? There was one episode where Moesha basically implied that Kim was too dumb for college and that she wasn't prepared for the future. Oh, and do y'all remember that one time where Mo and Niecy were making fun of Kim's weight and she overheard them because they forgot to hang up the phone after a three-way call? And this is why you don't rewatch your favorite childhood shows, because then you realize just how messy they were. And especially this one. There were a lot of moments where Moesha just plain acted like she was above Kim in every way. And who knew that this was the nature of Brandy and Countess's relationship in real life? Just like Brandy, Countess had been trying to make her way in Hollywood as a child star. She made her acting debut on the 4th season of the show 227, where she played a child prodigy, Alexandria DeWitt. She remained on the show for just one season, but she quickly found other acting gigs on shows such as Hanging with Mr. Cooper, Thea, and Rock, before she landed the role as Kim Parker, Moesha's best friend on the show. And that's where Countess struck gold.
Countess was such a dope character as Kim Parker because she gave you that hood girl essence. So a lot of our fans, some of them related to Brandy, but more of them related to Countess because we have more of that hood essence in LA and all these places that we're representing and around the world. I mean, hoods and hood girls are everywhere. Everybody loves a hood chick.
Her character was confident, sassy, cheerful, and a lot of times imperfect. That made her very relatable to the audience, especially when you compare her to Moesha. In fact, many of the supporting characters were more popular than Moesha, but Kim just stood out, and that gave Countess a new level of fame and recognition. Kim Parker was so beloved by the audience that the creators went ahead and created a spin-off show called The Parkers, which followed Countess's character, Kim Parker, and also Monique's character, Nikki Parker, who were mother and daughter and attended a junior college while navigating issues within their relationship. As much as Moesha gave Countess the push she needed in Hollywood, dealing with the star of the show allegedly being a mean girl to you really sucks the joy out of the job.
Brandy, as a young lady with so much success and going through so many things and a lot of pressure on her, all of us with a lot of pressure, it only takes certain things to make people snap off on each other. It wasn't something that was often, but it did happen.
Now, it isn't like the beef between the two of them was just rumors or speculation. Both of these women have said that they don't really mess with each other too tough. About a year before Countess left the show, Brandy told Vibe in 1998 that, "I think she's very funny, very talented. I just feel like she wants to be in the position I'm in. People tell her, you're the reason why the show's successful. And she's told me that before. And she's called me a B to my face. She said, I'm the reason why the show is successful, B, in front of a lot of people. And I just looked at her like, wow, I couldn't say nothing about her because I wasn't about to. She knows. She wakes up and looks at herself in the mirror and gets real disgusted. I don't." Ouch. If she said this about Countess, who knows what she said that could have made Monica throw hands? Brandy was the quintessential it girl back in the 90s and definitely had an air about her. She was an actor, a trained vocalist, a pretty brown girl, and for the most part carried a squeaky clean image around that time. And that made it easier for her to be successful and have the popularity that she did in the industry. She was afforded so many opportunities, including being personally handpicked by Whitney Houston to play the first Black Disney princess. Cinderella. And she was also handpicked to be a part of arguably the best Black film soundtrack in urban history, Waiting to Exhale. And perhaps all of those opportunities and accolades rubbed off on her in the way that she treated people around her, especially those that she didn't think were at the same level of success as she was. And their beef was so nasty that it reportedly resulted in a very public verbal altercation to the point where Countess threw a drink on Brandy while Brandy threw a glass in retaliation.
Countess Vaughn was funny. She was hilarious, and they needed her on the show. So she had a right to beef. She had a right to speak her mind. She had a right to whatever happened. I'm sure that she was frustrated enough to where it exploded.
Since the two were constantly butting heads, Brandy finally approached production and said that Countess had to go. But the producers weren't ready to let Countess go just yet. And that was how the spin-off show, The Parkers, was conceived. And apparently that rubbed Brandy and her mother Sonia the wrong way.
They were little girls, and who's gonna be the queen bee? Who's funnier? Who's thinner? Who's prettier?
They would be at one another by the time I got to the set. They were hugging one another.
The Parkers began getting better ratings with every episode, while Moesha was slowly declining by the time the 5th season came around. It sort of showed that Brandy's lead character couldn't carry the show on her own without the support, and the show eventually came to an abrupt end during the last season when the ratings hit an all-time low. Brandy made a couple of guest appearances on The Parkers until the show came to an end in 2004. And for about 2 decades, there was silence between the two ladies until Countess decided that it was time for her to put all the drama and BS away, especially now that the two of them were grown women and mothers. She penned a heart-tugging letter to Brandy on Instagram saying, "I'm proud of you for placing one foot in front of the other, for waking up every morning and simply giving it your best shot, for placing a premium on your personal growth too. We've been through ups and downs, highs and lows, but at the end of the day, I had to learn to find myself. Why not be friends when we're both talented? Why call you names when you're just an amazing person?" And she continued, "Sorry this had to be social media. I just wanted the world to see I've grown out of my comfort zone. Hopefully one day I can tell you in person or on the phone to let you know I mean everything I wrote. I didn't just do this for applause, because we all know that some people don't believe celebrities to be human, but this came from a very human place." Brandy caught wind of the apology and had nothing but kind words to her former co-star. "Oh, Countess, my heart is touched right now. You are beautiful to me. Always have been, always will be. I'm so thankful that we had such an amazing journey together as artists and as sisters growing up and growing through the pressures of being child stars. I would love to start a new friendship with you with new heads on both our shoulders. It will also be great to work together again. Without you, Moesha would not have lasted as long as it did. I love you." Countess also showed a lot of love for Brandy by commenting on several posts on IG, showing that she was Team Brandy all the way. She also said that the beef between the two of them was just normal teenage drama that would have blown over if the adults hadn't gotten involved.
What really pissed me off was because we were 15 years old and these adults were coming in on an argument that, would have blown over, but it didn't because of the outside and the media.
So it really looked like these two had really begun to truly settle their differences. Brandy had talked about how she was open to a Moesha reunion, and this renewed friendship between her and Countess was definitely a step in the right direction. There were a lot of missed opportunities with the two of them. They never sang a duet on Moesha together. Well, that's partially because Moesha's character couldn't sing. But they also didn't release a song together even at the height of the show's fame. So if there was a reunion, the two of them could have taken that nostalgia and released a song together and really got people talking again. Countess was a great singer, and my girl Brandy ain't called the vocal Bible for nothing. So a song with both of them? Now that's a win. But baby, not too long after making that apology and trying to set things right, Countess threw shade at Brandy. She was asked if she was going to show off her rekindled relationship with Brandy, and the way Countess said no, it was like she didn't want to hear, see, or have anything to do with Brandy Norwood. While Countess apologized for the part she played in their beef, it looks like Brandy never admitted to any fault, whether in public or private. And it didn't sit right with Countess at all because Brandy wasn't exactly sunshine and rainbows to work with all the time, especially when she didn't have her way. Countess sort of backed Brandy into a corner with that public apology because it wouldn't look right if she had completely ignored it and didn't accept it at all. But in private, now that's a different story. What started off looking like the beginning of a beautiful friendship just turned tragic, and fans are beginning to talk about it because it looks as if these two are never going to make peace with one another in a real way. I love her, but Brandy was always the problem. She criticized Aaliyah and Foxy Brown's images and interviews, antagonized Monica, told Kelly Rowland she was black as hell, and got into it with Thea, Cheryl Lee Ralph, and Countess Vaughn. The whole time, she was Black America's sweetheart. Countess Vaughn and Brandy did some great acting, cause who could tell they hated each other in real life? Moesha and Kim's frenemy dynamic makes sense when you find Brandy and Countess Vaughn didn't like each other in real life. But what do y'all think about the beef between these two ladies? Share your thoughts in the comments and make sure you like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, baddies.